Because of my passion for online entrepreneurship and in believing the impact we can make if we can all discover our purpose and do what we love, the Passion and Purpose podcast was born. I hope to share more inspiring adventures with you along with the people who have been there and done that. Welcome to the Passion and Purpose podcast, everyone, where we give you another inspiring adventure. And today, my very special guest, she is a very special friend from Canada, and I've known her since I think 2014, 2015. So it's been like ages since we last spoke. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you, Miss Judy Thompson. She is trained as an ESL teacher, and she works for the Board of Education and quickly noticed learners reading and writing improved, but their speaking didn't. So she set out to find better ways to teach people to speak English quickly and confidently. And that was in the early 2000s, and there was no looking back. She studied hard, got a job teaching at Sheridan College, wrote some books called English is Stupid, Students Are Not, and a workbook in Speaking Made Simple. Judy is also a speaker and have spoken in various events in different countries like TEDx and Reddit, and the rest is her story. So I'm going to let her tell you her story today. So Judy, how are you today?
I'm super excited to be here. I'm very, very well, and I'm very happy to see you. I haven't seen you for a while.
Yes, that's right. But I'm sure that we will see each other more often after these podcasts. So, Judy, can you please tell us more about your story? I'm sure the audience are excited to learn how you get to start with, teaching English and right now coaching as well.
I love my job. I trained as a ESL teacher. I was really lucky to get a job with the Board of Education, and I taught adults English. I loved my coworkers, my students, my classrooms, everything. But it didn't matter how long they stayed in the school. The learners stayed in the school. Their reading and writing improved, and their speaking and their confidence in speaking never improved. That was a problem for me, and so I set out to figure out, how do you teach people to speak English more effectively, more efficiently, more confidently? And that was my passion, and that defined my whole journey. So I walked away from that cushy job, which was a very tough decision, and no looking back. The world unfolded as it should. I wrote a program. It was accepted for Sheridan College. It was super successful there, and that was for foreign trained professionals. And that turned into a book and a TED Talk, and yeah.
I love it. So the moment that you decide that you're going to walk away from the teaching job, it seems like, an array of opportunities opened. It's like one opportunity after the other. Were you not overwhelmed when those opportunities were being, presented to you at that time?
Well, I was really excited about the journey and what I was learning. And I spoke to my gurus in the field, Catherine Brillinger and Lydia Ayala, and they were real pioneers. And what I started to distill was, although there was a lot of information out there, it wasn't equally important. There were a couple of pieces that were absolutely critically important, and nobody had ever defined English that way. What's the single most important thing you need to know? What's the second most important? Turned out there's only 6 things. So there's 6 patterns that are always true. And if you teach by patterns, then the learner's autonomous. They can take those patterns and they'll work for them outside of the classroom. So I was so happy and excited, and I wrote English is Stupid. It was the textbook for speaking Canadian English at Sheridan College. I thought the world would just embrace this. They'd say, yay, pronunciation is underserved. They'll all say it, pronunciation is underserved. And ESL teachers will say, I avoid teaching pronunciation completely for a lot of different reasons. So they just don't teach it. But those students are there for you to teach them to speak, and we weren't doing it. So I thought everybody'd be happy and excited for me, and they weren't. And that was a big heartbreaker, the pushback in the industry for the way we've always done it. We've always done it this way, and IPA and linguistics, and you're going, but none of it works. None of it has ever worked. So why do you insist on it? So the pushback was brutal, and people were very personal and very cruel. How dare you upset the apple cart? How dare you try something new or challenge the way we've always done it? So there were a couple of lonely years there. I'm not going to say it was easy. It was hard.
I can imagine, yeah.
And I felt very alone. But as the LinkedIn and the social media network grew, like-minded people, we found each other. And then we were a team, then we were a force, and then the world just started following.
Wow.
Into place. Everything fell into place.
Yes. Because what happened there, I saw what you did back then. It's like you're disrupting an already established system that you felt that you felt can still be improved on. And of course, the people who established the system, the people that have gone before you, felt, I don't know, maybe violated, or I don't know what they were
invalidated.
Yeah, invalidated. And for them, it's not a good feeling. And for somebody that's coming new, yeah.
So it was the unemployed teachers and the young teachers. It was the young teachers who embraced it, that I don't want to do this for 30 years and not make a difference.
Yes.
And just keep collecting my paycheck.
Yes, sometimes it's really happening because sometimes you don't just really feel the need to perfect your expertise, to find something new and make it better, just so you can really do your purpose.
No, we don't want to hear it. We don't want to know. I was heartbroken, heartsick about it. But you couldn't stop doing it. Once you know how it works, you can't go backwards. You can't just go and take the money anymore. You have to.
You have to choose at some point. Right? Yeah, move forward or not do it at all.
Yeah, I can't do it wrong anymore. And a lot of the people who've done it for 20, 30 years were in the positions of power, and a tremendous number, when they saw how simple it is, they felt stupid. They just said, I should have figured that out. Like, how did I do it that way for so long? And then they look at a different way and go, shoot, I can see how that's better. And they're down on themselves, they're hard on themselves. I should have figured that out. That was right in front of my face and I didn't see it. Yeah. But there's no room. There's no room in the industry to improve yourself. It's just
so sad.
Yeah.
They're going on circles, which is going to, I will ask you about the title of the book, because the title is so brutal. In fact, my daughter, which is 5 years old at that time, don't want us, and we were meeting, right? And she can hear us. Why? Don't say bad words. Mom, don't say bad words. How come, or how did you decide to let that be the title of your book? And then were there resistance when the publisher, the editor?
Good questions. Teaching English in Canada, English and Stupid was a really good title. And what's stupid about English is the alphabet doesn't represent sound. Yes. And as far as I know, every language in the world generates a system of symbols to represent the sound. So when you read it, you know what it says. And when you speak it, you know how to write it down. That's the purpose of alphabets. Mm-hmm. This didn't happen with English. So any letter can be silent. Every letter represents more than one sound or no sound. And it's completely random. So spelling is random in English. So when learners learn to read, they don't know why they can't speak. And nobody's straight about it. Nobody says straight up, oh yeah, spelling doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like of is spelled O-F, but it sounds U-V. So this isn't big words that are a problem. Is would be I-Z. It doesn't make any sense. His would be H-I-Z. So that had to get fixed first. So English is Stupid was really validating for learners, because they're going, oh, I thought it was me. And you go, no, it's not you. English is messed up and no one was honest about that with you. So I'll tell you it's stupid and I'll tell you how to fix it. So that was great domestically in Canada and North America and the English-speaking countries, or when they're surrounded, they're immersed in English, they're confronted every minute of every day with how ridiculous it is. But when it was taught as a foreign language, then they didn't like it. They'd spent a lot of money on learning English, and they didn't want you calling it stupid. So the first edition was English is stupid, but the editions after that were English is stupid, students are not, because they felt stupid when they couldn't get it. You know, there's nothing wrong with you, it's English. They go, oh, someone should have told me that. I'm like,
also, that's why, because I only know that English is stupid is the title. I didn't realize that students are not. I thought it's like a tagline. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. There's the one of the first ones, but we had to change it for that reason. For English as a foreign language, you needed that extra bit, that little explanation.
All right, now I get it, because I have the same copy of the book that you sent me. So I use that, in fact, to teach my daughter. And whenever there is a pronunciation or a spelling of a word that she can't really explain how or why it happened, she would just say, "Oh yeah, English is stupid, Nanay."
It's not your fault. No.
And it really boosted the confidence of non-English speaking students.
Yes.
And they will really, feel more comfortable learning rather than always blaming themselves. It's hard and I can't. Yeah.
Then it's a game. What do you think it says? And you look at clues like context and other things like that. Have I seen that word family before? But then it's like a puzzle. And if you like puzzles, English is much more fun as a game.
And you made it fun. Yeah. With the colors in pronunciation. Yeah. It's really brilliant. What you made there. It's really brilliant. So Judy, my question is, what are the other opportunities that came when you found your passion, when you were so sure that this is your purpose, you resigned from your work to do what you are really passionate about?
Well, after the TED Talk, and they called me, and it was the first year that there were TEDx venues that organizations could follow a TED script and get the X designation. And so nobody really knew what they were doing, and the equipment didn't work. And they said, if you go over 18 minutes, we're throwing it in the garbage. No, there was no rehearsal. It was just a cold go up there and deliver. And I thought, nobody's going to see it anyway. It's like, whatever, like that. But human resources saw it. And then they started hiring me for executives, because executives have unlimited money and no time. So they need you to find what's wrong and fix it fast. So that became my specialty, and I started making a lot of money doing that. I did a money back guarantee. So
wow,
I said my price, and I'll tell you some of the distinctions between what I learned was missing from teaching that I was doing. There were 4 big things. One of them was assessment. Who is this learner? What are their goals? What are their strengths and weaknesses? What's stopping them now? How will they know when we've been successful? They tell me when they've been successful. So that ruthless assessment is missing in education. The customization. So I have charts in here comparing English to any other language. So all major languages have about 40 sounds. So if you compare English to Russian, English to anything, Chinese, the sound sets are almost identical. But we teach as if people didn't speak at all. Not only do they speak some language, you can harvest what's the same from their first language, and you don't have to reteach that stuff. So there's charts in here for identifying what sounds are different and missing from Tagalog or French or something. And then the customization. So you can customize when you know what their goals are and their strengths are, even their hobbies. You can make it interesting and just address what's missing for them. It's super fast, super expedient, and super successful. So I stick to those 6 points, the patterns of how spoken English works, and there's no exceptions. All conversations fall inside 6 little patterns. So you go through them with the student and you're done and they're transformed. So yeah, the third thing that was missing was accountability. So I learned that with that great teacher job, I got paid if nobody learned English at all. I got paid the same. And the unions
Yeah.
were so strong here, you can't even fire a teacher. I don't know what a teacher would have to do here to get fired. So it isn't that the teachers don't work hard and they don't care. They really, really do. They have no training that makes a difference. They're just set free in front of that class to make their own way. It's just horrible, the standardization. And so teachers are accountable to administration, but no one's accountable to the student in teaching. So with this program, learners become accountable for their own learning. So there's 2 parts of that accountability thing. And the last part was autonomy. So students graduate after hundreds or thousands of hours, years in class, and they have no difference in their skill level. They can't speak English, So they must be able to do what they tell me they want, that they want to do, and it turned out I'm not a teacher at all. This was coaching. It was customized, ruthless assessment, accountability with the money back guarantee, and no one's asked for their money back.
Oh.
So yeah, the
Nice.
customization in using first language, and then the autonomy. It works for them when I'm not here. So they're not dependent on a teacher or a classroom. They're autonomous.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
How long, is the average student, how long does it take for you to teach the whole course? And then how long does it take for them to confidently speak English in your new curriculum?
There's levels of answers to that. So on LinkedIn, I met other teachers. This is teaching the patterns, not the details. You can teach details forever and ever and ever, and human brains don't grab those. And infants are looking for the patterns of the first language. What's always true, and you don't even need a teacher for that, because humans are hardwired to find the pattern. So it helps if you just give them the pattern. So the number that came up over and over for Jason West was 30 hours. Rita Baker was 30 hours. My program's 30 hours for a beginner. But for an intermediate student, it's 20 hours. For an advanced student, it's 10. So they have you have to show them how to take all the English that they've already studied and can't use, and this is how you use it. It's a very short program. Executives are about 6 to 8 hours, 6 to 8 sessions. That's how razor sharp their assessment is. And then you take away, there's a lot of unlearning. You have to take away the reasons why they're not. They're not speaking for not real reasons. They're embarrassed about their accent, and accents are adorable. They're worried about making grammar mistakes, and grammar is insignificant in conversation. So once they understand the relative importance, they're like, and they're away to the races. So you have to take away the reasons why they don't. And they were all installed by education. They're misinformed in school. When your grammar is better, if you don't have an accent, then you can speak English. None of it's actually true. It's not true at all. Yeah, but it's a good business model. It keeps those students in their seats forever and ever.
Yeah, because up until now, the modules that the students are learning, even here in the Philippines, grammar is really one of the longest modules that they really have to work on.
Yeah, Rita Baker will fix that for you. The global approach is her approach, and it's coming out online soon. And I've seen it, I've known it for years, and it's reading, writing, listening, speaking. I do listening, speaking. She does all 4 in 30 hours for much any student. Freaking brilliant. Brilliant.
Very nice. So Judy, as an English teacher, how did you transition from a teacher who's working full time to being an entrepreneur who has to work more independently?
It was the TED thing, and I changed I put pronunciation expert in my tagline on LinkedIn, and the phone started to ring. People just started. Oxford University Press hired me. I got hired all over the place, and it was the money back guarantee. So they wrote great reviews. She did what she said she'd do for the amount that she said she'd do it. And then, yeah, they'd refer you, and that was that. So it was results. You could produce results in a really reasonable amount of time. But executives are mega students too. Like, they are smart and hardworking, and their secretaries arrange their time, and they are to the minute. Like, if your lesson starts at 9 and finishes at 10, it starts at 9 and it finishes at 10. There's just, it's extremely professional. So the corporate world was really high standards. Yeah.
I love it, because I know back in 2014 or 15, I think, the last time that we did business together, what happened between 2015 and 2020? I am not very familiar with what's happening with you anymore. So can you tell us, with your entrepreneurship journey, what changed, what improved, what happened? Because I can just see you have written more books and more workbooks than ever. So please tell us more about it.
Well, the workbooks came from Canada. Took in a lot of Syrian refugees. So a small town, Peterborough, took in 100 Syrian families, and it was mostly empty nesters, people with a 3 or 4 bedroom house, and their kids had grown and gone, and the parents were still working, but the house was empty. So they take a whole family, and so you'd have an accountant and a secretary, or a nurse and a truck driver, a construction worker, with a Syrian family in their house. And the organization called and said, can you teach an engineer how to teach English in a workshop? Can you do that in a morning? And I said, sure. So they had a couple of flights of this workshop, I think morning, noon, and night. So whoever could make it in the morning, whoever could make it in the afternoon. And they walked away going, yep, I can teach English now. And they said, you should write that down. Like, that was amazing. It's jargon free. Yeah, so that's where the little booklets came from, and I'm really proud of them, and they're really, really effective, and they're really inexpensive. Part of my passion was to deliver English speaking to anybody.
$5, yes.
Like,
right?
A lot of places, you have to be rich to get English. That wasn't for me. I want everybody to have it. $5 a book. It's $12 if you get the PDFs of all 3 books. It's crazy. So, and it really worked. So it was great. So it went step by step. It didn't really go boom. And then Wiz Tango is an education platform, and they serve and they promote or develop or whatever underserved areas of education. And they called me in 2020, mid-COVID, and said, will your pronunciation's underserved, will your speaking program fit on our software? And so we had a long Zoom meeting, a couple of hours, and they said, well, we really need a roadmap. And I'm going, I have a roadmap. And it was magical. And we both said to each other, I've been looking for you all of my life. The technicians and the digital guys who put Wiz Tango together, and it's brilliant, said, I've been looking for you all of my life. I said, I've been looking for you for 12 years to a platform to scale it, to reach a lot of people in an effective way. So we're doing the pilots for that, but it's really based on coaching and patterns. Yeah.
Wow. You've really gone to different places, spoken in different countries,
Yes.
taught kids in different countries, and written a lot of books. And those are the opportunities that your passion, brought you. The moment that you said you are going to step away from being a regular school teacher to somebody that has disrupted, if I may say the word, the whole process. How do you feel about it?
It was one moment. It was funny. It was a moment of enlightenment, or Oprah says, aha. I think Japanese say satori. And I was walking to my class at the Peel board, and I thought, and I'd been studying hard about pronunciation, and I know IPA and all that, and I can tell how ridiculous it is. But green, long E is in green. I think that was the first one. And short E is in red. And blue, long U is in blue. And I got really excited. What color holds ah? Black holds the vowel sound. So I had deep knowledge about pronunciation. And it's probably not an accident. I was living and breathing it. But anyways, that's where that vowel chart came from. So there's 15 vowel sounds in English. I got to my classroom. I sat down. I told my students who were intermediate students, I gave them an assignment to read and ask, write their answers. And I said, nobody bother me. Like, I'm having a thought here, you guys. You got to let me know. So they were working away at their desks, and I was going through the alphabet, picking all the colors that represented, and that was the link that bypassed spelling. And that, you can never go back after that. You go, they have a bridge. They finally have a bridge from reading to pronunciation, and from speaking back to spelling. Yeah. So
Brilliant.
it was a moment. It was a flash of brilliance, and your whole life can change in a moment.
And a lot of bravery for you to resign from the job that you're so used to doing for how many years, Judy?
I had that job. I think I worked there 8 years. It wasn't that. I had 4 kids, single mom. I had pension, benefits, seniority. I had job security. Oof. But I had a farm. So I could make income from my farm again. I was a farmer first. I was raised and trained horses before I was a teacher. It's a very similar skill set. My kid said, "You've been teaching magnificent creatures who don't speak English for all of my life. You're going to be a TESL teacher, Mom."
I would be surprised if the horses are speaking in English too.
Just understand them in so many other ways. It's the whisper thing. You can tell when they're mad. You can tell when they get. Here's a pattern for you. I don't know. It's a good example. When I went to explain horse training to my daughter, who was an avid horse person, and she said, how do I know when to hit him? The answer is you never have to hit him. But if he's being rude or bad, and so I had to distill it in order to tell somebody. And this was the same process with learning English. What am I doing? Because it's nothing that it's in the book. What am I doing, and how do people learn language? And looking back at that, so if there's 4 conditions that are met, any horse will do anything that you ask it. And so I told her the conditions. So if he won't do what you want him to do, take away the reason why he won't. He's either scared or hurt, he doesn't understand the question, or it's too hard for him. So if it's too hard for him, make it smaller. If he doesn't understand it, make it clearer. And she's a horsewoman to this day. So that's what the power of pattern is. And it works everywhere. It isn't this horse or that horse or a good horse or a bad horse. It's every single horse, every single time. So she's made her whole living out of a 5-minute conversation. That's the power of patterns. So what are the patterns with English? Yeah, it's expedient. Always true, no exceptions. What are they? And they're simple.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think that alone is also a very good way to teach to new teachers and to coaches out there, that they just have to take away the reason why the students don't like to learn it. And if the students are really willing to learn it but just can't, then what would you do next?
Yeah. That's never happened. It's never happened. But I don't do a lot of children. I've done enough children. It's the game. If you turn it into a game. So the first game when you trot out all those colors, the first game is, what's your name? What color is your name? So the pronunciation of every word in English is on one page. There's no exception. There's no word in English that isn't one of those colors. So Judy is blue, right? So they learn the colors and all the crazy spellings, red, head, said, and look at short I, sit and in and if, women is an O, pretty is an E, build is a UI, you know. So it becomes a game. I know that word, that's a pink word. And so the categories are made in
Make
their
it
head.
fun. Yeah.
The brain wants those categories to put something. The colors are pretty they already know black and white and green and red and orange. They know those colors.
Yeah.
So you're employing something that they know, giving every new piece of information a place to land. And what color is your name? And once they find their name, they're, you know,
They'll have fun practicing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's just super fun. They stay right to the end of class. And then anyways, it's separating writing from speaking is what you're doing. And then when you write out, writing looks like this and speaking looks like that. Then they read from this side. We walked and talked and walked, talked and walked. We walked and talked. And then they sound perfect. And they look right at you and you go, I was perfect. You go, I know. So if you give them half a chance, you know, if you write out what it sounds like, then they sound like you. And they know they sound like you. And they know that they can do it. And it took, 5 minutes? You know, it never goes away. It's a shift. It's a book of transformation. It's got information. Ooh, there you go. It's transformation. And I'm going for those spots. So they never miss a class, actually. You know, because you're teaching them the thing that they need to know, and you're doing it in a fun way.
Wow, you're making them learn how to speak English from beginner, intermediate to advanced. And it's really amazing. You're not just teaching them English, you're giving them confidence.
Yeah, the tools, it's a little toolbox. It works like this, and this, go. But the program is exactly the same. The beginners take longer to go through it. Mm-hmm. And the advanced take hours to go through it. But the program doesn't change. The program's exactly the same. I don't fix anything or modify anything for beginners. Fun?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Judy, what did you learn from the experience? On the entrepreneur's perspective, because I know that it took you a while to find your passion and really, do something about it, even though everybody is against it. What did you learn from the experience?
I think it's a little bit about courage, and I think you said it. It's that follow your heart thing, it will work out. The person who you need to meet next is going to show up. You know, and your passion kind of pulls you forward. I can't not. I must. I talked to God about it. I wasn't too demanding. I just said, I want a job that I can't wait to get up in the morning and do. Because horses was that job for me. And then by the time I was 40, I wouldn't have minded an inside job. So I started looking for a job inside. And I had an English degree and whatever. And I went to an assessment to find out what you should be doing. So as I was complete career change at 39, went back to school and everything for it. But I did talk to God for a minute and say, can I just have a job that I just can't wait to get to in the morning? I don't want to hate my job, right? So every single day is a joy. It doesn't even seem like work. So yeah. I don't know why I would ever stop it, because it's fun.
I love what you said there. But Judy, what can you say about those people who are feeling that they're old enough to try something new? At 39, I have students who are also starting at that age, 40, 50-ish, and they're also scared, to try something new. But you weren't. I mean, you showed complete confidence.
I was more terrified of staying where I was. I couldn't take their money. It was an integrity issue for me. I'm just taking your money and providing myself with job security. So it was an integrity issue for me. And I don't really blame anybody who can't do it. I don't think it is for everybody.
Yeah.
And it was very lonely, and for 2 years. And the publisher who did English is Stupid, he said, you're not going to sell any of these books for 5 years.
Oh, that's harsh.
And I was so glad that he was so straight with me. You know, I thought, really? Like, really? And I thought, he's been in the business a long time. He knows what he's doing. On some level, I had to believe him. So, you know, little pieces of wisdom came in and said, you know, you're not even supposed to. But in 5 years, it was in 60 countries. It was good, but it took all of 5 years to do that. Yeah.
See, I can imagine Harry Potter. That she went to at least 12 publishers, right, before somebody accepted the book and said, this is not going to sell. He accepted the book and he said, this is not going to sell. And look where she is right now.
Yes. You can't do it on your own. So find your tribe, find your people as quickly as possible. I'd like to speak to that. Now I belong to the International Language Coaching Association, ILCA. They go by, it's a fantastic organization of like-minded people, and they offer training, standardization, and certification in language coaching. So if you find, you know, if you're in the same boat as me, don't take 10 years, you know, to say, I'm a coach and I am accountable and I am customized and I am about these things. It's just a fantastic, it's a young, I think it's about 2 years old. Man, those girls are sharp and educated. They're ICA, International Coaching Association accredited, and they've applied it to language learning. I think they're on the right track. I'll talk to them, see if you want to podcast any of them.
Oh, yes, please.
Oh, yeah, I got some ideas for you.
Thank you. What made you realize that you're not a teacher, you're a coach? Because you've been a teacher for so long. It's not easy. I was a coach for a long time and I didn't know. There was no word for it. And then Anish Dea, an on-the-spot language. He's an award-winning experiential language teacher, and he speaks 7 languages. He's a Canadian guy. I don't mean easy languages. He speaks like French and Japanese and Hindi, and like the guy speaks a lot of languages, and he's fluent in them. So he used the process that he learned language and taught that. So he, again, LinkedIn, he said, we don't live that far apart. Do you want to get together? And I said, sure. Because people call me pretty regularly to maybe ratify their program. Like, this is my program and I made it up. Can you give it a gold stamp of approval or something? That's so nice.
And for most of them, I can't. Most of them, they just digitize teaching grammar. They just digitize. So the technology went ahead of the content, and the content is still old and stale and not really very good. So it's heartbreaking to say that. But every once in a while, and Anish Dea, he was one of them. Jason West was another. Rita Baker, Peggy Tharp, you know, what was that girl? Denise Ide in the States. They show me your stuff and you go, oh my God, that's amazing. I endorse you to the nth degree. So we got together and I said, we should do a conference. Are we the only 2 in Toronto who think this way? And we hosted the Disruptive Education Conference in a venue in Toronto, and it was fan-friggin-tastic. So we had the first day was normal speakers about starting your own business and about using technology in your business. So all the pieces, accounting, the pieces of being an entrepreneur. And we said edupreneur, so whatever. And then the next day was a hackathon. Anish called it a hackathon. And anybody who was interested could come and bring their ideas and share what they liked and didn't like and what was working. A number of immigrants came who were very dissatisfied with how they'd learned English. And it was magical just to have all these people have this forwarding conversation And then at the end, somebody said, this isn't teaching, it's coaching. And it just went ping. And I thought, oh, I have my name. So it's the ugly duckling story. I don't belong here. I don't belong here. I'm wrong and bad. I'm not like these other ducklings, And then I got in a room with a bunch of swans, and I thought, I wasn't a duck. I was a swan. But I didn't know. That was 2018 or 2017. And as soon as they did the outline of it, you just identified with it point by point. That's exactly what I do. Yeah. So coaching, that's language coaching. It's not the same.
Language coaching. Wow.
Yeah.
So now you're rebranding as a language coach, right?
You're helping me. You typed that right away. Yep.
Thank you. You really need that, because a lot of people really need to see more of you, hear more of you, and the brilliant ideas that you have in your book. I really believe so. Ever since I've been pitching those books in every people that I can, talk about that are within the same industry as yours. And I really feel that the world needs it.
Well, I appreciate your support, and you and I are going to get together soon and rebrand me as a coach.
Yes, thank you, Judy. Judy, do you have any more message for those, let's say, educators out there, those who are scared to try it out, just like a parting message for everyone?
It's not mutually exclusive. So the vast majority of language coaches are teachers with a coaching component. So it isn't black and white like mine. My story was black and white. But most people are a combination. So they go forward and get the coaching skills and the coaching training, and they employ it in their teaching job, and they're much more effective. And there's a lot more job satisfaction for them. So everybody doesn't have to have my road. Yeah, coaching can really augment what you're already doing. Yeah.
Yes, and in fact,
I have a course now.
Mm-hmm.
I better say, so it's the Effective Communicators course, and it's hosted by Wiz Tango, and it will be out. I hesitate this spring, but it's being piloted right now. So it exists. It's magnificent. Everybody loves it. And yeah, you get a lot out of that.
And can you please send us the link too, so we can also share it to everyone?
Sure. I'm going to tell you Wiz Tango, WIZ capital TANGO, Wiz Tango. So it'll show up on their site. You can look up Judy Thompson or Thompson Language Center or Effective Communicator. And when it's available, it'll be up there. We'll do a little promotion, won't we? You and me.
Yes, definitely. We are going to do it. And you have an upcoming event. I'm looking at it. And let me see.
Yes, that's a webinar. And it's introducing the Effective Communicator. So it's just a 40-minute webinar that has a new model for learning. Right now, the education model is very linear. So the teacher knows everything, delivers information, the students memorize the information, give it back to the teacher on a test, the students forget the information, and the process starts all over again. So linear is not the way to learn. And the Scandinavian countries that do so exceedingly well in education use a circular model. So we adopted their model for learning, and we upgraded the content, and we put it in technology. So we got a triple threat. Yeah. So we can provide it for a lot of people for a low price, and it's transformation.
Yeah, I think the homeschoolers community can also learn from it, because I've been homeschooling my daughter, and right now my granddaughter, she's already 2, so she's starting to. She knows the alphabet already at 2 years old. So right now we're teaching her how to do the sounds. Sounds of an A is A, like that. So it will be easier for her to transition to teaching her how to speak or read English.
I have a program for you during COVID, because my grandchildren are learning to read. And the first lie that they say is A is for apple. So Yeah,
Ouch.
it's a big fat lie. Yeah. So Apple, it's A is for three things, like ape, apple, and avocado. So it's
Oh,
right. So
the different
yeah.
pronunciations of A.
Well, yeah. So there's three. The three A's, and then B is ba. That's fine. But C is ka or sa. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to go back to your books.
I wrote a literacy book. I wrote a literacy book for 2020 just for you. It's called From Nana with Love on how to teach
Oh,
to read.
oh, I have to go back there.
You gotta talk.
Yeah. Okay. Now tell us about the event, please.
Oh, it's
Feel
a
free to
webinar,
invite
and
them.
I'm sure it'll be recorded and up on the website. But it's a public invitation to learn about the effective communicator
Communication.
series. Yeah, and
All
it
right.
works for professionals, for teachers. Yeah, it's just a
And
new way to look at it and be more
that will
effective.
be on February 25th, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
First thing in the morning in Canada, 7:30 in the morning. So we tried to find a good time because we have a lot of clients in India, a lot of clients in Japan. So it's tricky finding a time.
Yeah. And sometimes in the events that I am participating in, sometimes they do it in different time zones just so they can accommodate, globally.
So 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, it's on LinkedIn. I'll put it up on the website. It'll be up on the website tomorrow.
And I'll
Thank
share
you.
it later too. I'll share it
Thank
later
you.
too.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
You rock.
It's always a pleasure to work with you, and you know how I'm an avid fan of your books, and I used that to teach Oleg when she was growing up, and I didn't realize the alphabet again. I'm teaching my granddaughter the wrong way, so I have to go back.
Everybody is. They've been doing it wrong for 200 years. 40% of English-speaking high school graduates can't read because
Yeah.
of the lies they're told in grade 1. They never recover. Sound it out. Nobody can sound it out. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, don't do it. And again, it's patterns. There's 3 rules. Follow them all the time and the kid can read. I'll share them with you.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. I am so happy and overwhelmed that Judy has graced this show today, and I hope that you will keep on watching and listening to the Passion and Purpose podcast, where we will give you another inspiring adventures in all the weeks to come every Thursday. So please don't forget to tune in again in our Spotify Passion and Purpose podcast. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Passion and Purpose podcast. Join us next week for another inspiring adventures.